Okay. We are getting live. Give me a second. And we are live, you guys. Thank you everybody for being here. My name is Amparo, and I'm joined by Daniela and Sebastian today, who will be letting us know more about the Startup Chile program. I hope all of you have already started your applications and are here for to get some answers for your questions, get some tips. So yeah, without further ado, I'll leave you with Sebastian and Daniela, who will be doing a presentation on Startup Chile. Leave your questions in the YouTube box, so we will be answering them afterwards. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you, Amparo, and welcome, guys, to this first webinar regarding the application of Startup Chile on its generation Big 10. So first of all, I would like to say that Startup Chile is the first public accelerator in the world and probably the best one. And this year, we are celebrating our 15th anniversary. So throughout the whole year, we're going to do different activities and celebration parties and so on. So if you want to be part of that, please apply to Startup Chile now. We look for impactful companies, tech-based startups, basically, that have scalable business models and obviously that are trying to solve relevant problems. So for that reason, you guys could be an innovative solution. We are agnostic to industries, so we basically select different companies that are solving different problems with different technologies and approaching different industries. So we are not focusing right now in a specific one. On the other hand, we are agnostic to nationalities. So we have a huge community of entrepreneurs here in Santiago in our co-work. So nationalities are super important for us because we have in our portfolio more than 3,000 startups that are from different countries. Actually, we have a representation of 50% of the world, of the countries of the world in our portfolio, and more than 6,000 entrepreneurs supported and impacted in our program. Regarding our program, so we have the Big 10 application process. What does it mean? Basically, the build program selects early stage projects or companies. Basically, we seek for validated in the early stage concept companies with a validated problem and obviously with a proper team to run this business. And in the Ignite program, we select companies that already have an MVP. And an MVP for us is a sequence of experimentations, you know, that you are running with your clients. And so if you have some evidence, you have some traction, you have some relevant information in terms of this MVP is solving this problem in this way. So Ignite is the program for you. And finally, if you are, you know, so trying to expand your business into different countries, or if your team is growing, you have validated traction, the growth program could be the opportunity for you guys. So the build program supports concept validated startups with a grant of $15K and an acceleration program, obviously. The Ignite program supports MVP companies, you know, in that stage with a grant of $31K and the growth program, if you are trying to reach other countries, if your team is growing, that program could be for you, and we're going to support you with grants of around 80K US dollars. So obviously we're a public program, so Startup Chile is a public accelerator. So obviously we have a co-founding program. So if you got the build program, you have to put some money to collaborate with the grant we're going to give for your project. Same with Ignite and same with Growth. The relevant thing maybe is, so if you got selected to the build program, you have to collaborate with the 10% of the funding, in the Ignite program with 20%, and in the Growth 50%. So in more details, the build program, so we select from an idea to an early stage prototype. And again, the important thing here is to validate the problem. Even though you have an MVP or a solution, if you don't have relevant information about the problem, and if you don't have a proper team, maybe you're not going to be selected. So the program duration is 4 months, and you will have the same amount of time to execute the grant. We select 2 generations per year. I have talked about the equity-free funding we're going to grant to you. And if you are a rock star doing the build program, you could have the opportunity to get an extension, and that means you are going to be transferred to the next generation of Ignite. So that means in Ignite 12. The Ignite program, as I mentioned before, so we are trying to select projects that not only have an MVP or the functional product itself, but relevant evidence of traction. So if you are getting traction, if you are having some revenue, if you have some relevant relationships with some clients, so the Ignite program could be for you. So the program duration is 4 months, and the execution of the grant is 6 months. We select two generations per year too. I have told about the funding, and if you are a rock star doing the Ignite program, you could have the extension of 20 million Chilean pesos extra and more time to execute the funds. And finally, the growth program is for startups in the expansion stage. So the duration of the program is 8 months, and the period of time in which you can execute the funding is 1 year. So we also select 2 generations per year, and the equity-free funding is around 80K US dollars. So this is a kind of summary of the key requirements per programs. Basically, you can apply as a natural person if you are foreign entrepreneurs. I don't know if there are some local entrepreneurs too here, but you also can apply as a natural person or a legal entity if you are a Chilean entrepreneur and if you have a company incorporated in the country. So here you can see the details. I'm going to spend some time here because you can see the requirements. This is a kind of summary, and we're going to pass to the next section of this webinar. So I want to welcome Daniela Encina, who is going to talk about our gender initiative, which is extremely important for us. Go ahead, Dani.
Okay, thank you, Seba. So before anything, if you're having, please, any questions, please leave them in the chat so we can answer them. Okay, we know that women have it harder. So we have the female founder factor for our program, which is a gender perspective, on which, Seba, if you can just go one slide. We take this gender perspective from the Build, Ignite, throughout the growth program. This is a gender perspective which we kind of take in different perspectives and different kind of things that we do to help the reducing this historical gap. So Seba, if you can just go to next one. We know that women are the key factor in businesses. That's why we promote female entrepreneurship transversely across all of our programs. And how do we do that? Okay, so regarding the founding itself, in the Build program, it's the same one as the co-founding of the beneficiary. But as you can see from what Seva presented in the first kind of this graphic, the Ignite program for the female founder has to present a 10% of the co-founding. Okay, for the Ignite program, for the male team leader has to present the 20% of the co-founding, and for the Ignite program is a 10% of the co-founding. Okay, and for the growth program is a 40%. So the female in the Ignite program has to present 3.5K US dollars, and for the growth program it's about $52K, whereas a male founder has to present the 75K US dollars. Okay, that's regarding the founding. So at least, and for the Build program, at least 50% of the selected startups will be led by a female entrepreneurs, as I said before, in the Build program. Okay, so 50% of the whole batch of the Build program will be a 50% led by a female founder. Okay, so next one. As I said before, we are committed to reducing the historical gender gap. So we do this regarding, if you want to go to the next one, Seva, regarding the community acceleration program, talent ecosystem, and media, which is actually what we do. So how do we do it regarding the community? We provide opportunities for the female founders to network, build relationships throughout special events, which you can see in the ecosystem one, which we have once a year at the Female Circle, in which leaders, known leaders here, Chilean leaders, and from all of the countries that we have here, and female representatives meet, and we talk about the innovation, what's happening in our country and the world and the ecosystem. Okay, regarding talent, we know that role models are very, very important. So through a gender balanced academy, we pass the knowledge and experience from diverse female representatives. And from the acceleration program, we match those startups of our portfolio led by women with female mentors. Okay, and in media, you can see in our page, you can see in our Instagram page, we know that representation matters. So that's why we use our media channels to visualize strong female entrepreneurs who can inspire our future generations.
Okay, thank you, Dani. In general terms, if you are selected to a Startup Chile, you will get a set of different resources, and obviously you will have the opportunity to spend some time with local entrepreneurs and corporate mentors, our alumni network, and so on. And so how we do that? Basically giving you some important resources, for example, and the equity-free funding, the equity-free grant for your company, a free co-working space, which nowadays is full of people, is overcrowded because we are starting our generation 9. So if you want to be part of that and you want to talk with incredible entrepreneurs, don't miss this opportunity to apply to Startup Chile. We work with different corporations, such as, for example, Google, Amazon, some banks here in Chile, and other institutions to give you super exclusive benefits. So not just credits in some platforms, but we're going to do our effort to support to you the soft landing in Chile in terms of incorporating your company, trying to understand taxes and so on. And for that reason, we have business management and legal supporting too. In the acceleration program, we run different activities depending on the program you are into. But we obviously have mentoring activities with super incredible mentors, peer-to-peer sessions that are oriented to the peer-to-peer learning process. Some academies, and the academies are super diverse too. So we have from how to sell in the B2B is seen here in Latin America, to how to incorporate and when to incorporate your company here in the country. So we will offer to you some office hours with experts and some pitch training sessions towards our pitch day and of course our demo day. That, by the way, maybe this year will be incredible because we are in the party mood with our anniversary. Obviously, some connections. Startup Chile has a massive network of corporates, investors, other government institutions that work with us, and universities if you want to promote your company or to spread the word if you are interested to talk about your company to students too. These are our figures. So we have more than 200, mentors, corporate and government partners, near to 200, and so on. And maybe the most important thing is our community of more than 6,000 entrepreneurs around and all over the world. And finally, the soft landing in Chile. This is really important if you're a foreign entrepreneur. So we are push you to get into the country with a visa, a temporary residency. So we're going to work with you to get that visa. We're going to assist you in that process, and when you will get to the country, we're going to give you the opportunity to open a bank account here in the country to receive the funding. And all this process will be supported by both the staff of Startup Chile and obviously an alumni too. Our community is really important for us too. So here in the co-work, things are happening all the time, not just our academies or activities, but activities organized by our community too. So communication of opportunities for our network of entrepreneurs, even though if you are alumni of our programs, so we're going to send you some open innovation opportunities or the opportunity to pitch in a massive event and so on. Or local events too, so obviously we're going to promote the networking and the relationship building here in the country and with the local ecosystem. And why Chile, Dani? Why Chile is a massive opportunity for entrepreneurs?
Okay, let's tell them. So why Chile? If you can, yes. Chile is one of the best countries in the region to do business, actually. In 2022, Chile was the third best country in America for business competitiveness. Okay, so you will be able to test your, if you want to go to the next slide, please. Okay, great. So why Chile? Chile is an excellent lab to test, okay? We are the leader in Latin America on digital connectivity. Our public policies strongly support entrepreneurship as Startup Chile and multiple global commercial agreements and soft landing in Latin America. So Chile is a great way to test the market, to know if you will be having to how to stand to other countries. We have great agreements. We have actually here in Startup Chile will help you to get to other markets. We have a lot of alumni and people from all around the world, which will tell you that Chile is an excellent platform to start your business. So, but there's a but. Okay, if you're a foreign entrepreneur, you will have to be very mindful of any kind of this kind of things to avoid any problems before starting the Startup Chile experience and the Startup Chile program. Okay, as you know, Startup Chile is a public policy, so it's a public program, and we have terms and conditions which states that you need to come here as a temporary residency, kind of in that form. Okay, so for you foreign startups, you have to consider the following. Okay, so first of all, you have to issue the documents that you need for your 2-year work visa. It has to be in your country of permanent residency, okay? Not from any other country that you are now on, okay? So we have, and we say that because of the experience that we have been having, okay? So lots of you love to travel. Lots of you are starting a business. For example, you're from Argentina and you're opening a business in Mexico. You have to issue all of the documentation in Argentina, okay? If you're Argentinian, you have to start all of the documentation in Argentina because you are not a permanent residency in Mexico. But if you're an Argentinian and have a nationality, for example, or a permanent residency in Mexico, you can do and issue all of the documents needed to get your work visa here to Chile in Mexico, okay? So be very, very mindful of that. Then you have to get have your updated international passport, okay? It has to have at least 19 months from September of 2025. So just look into your passport and see if you have, it has the 19 months from September 2025, okay? If you don't have that, you won't be able to get your work visa if you get selected in the Startup Chile program, okay? So you have to start issuing all of those documents, okay? If your passport will be expired by next year, you won't be able to get here, so start getting your passport renewed, okay? And then, and the most important document is the police record certificate, okay? Before coming here to Chile, you have to apply for your work visa and you must request a police record certificate, which has to be apostilled in your country of permanent residency. Again, not from your country of permanent, temporary residency, okay? So if you're in the country that you have your nationality, great, you can start in your police record certificate, okay? But if you're not there, please, you have to go back to your home country, start all of those documents, and then you will be able to get here to Chile. Because if you enter Chile as a tourist, for example, you won't be able to get the funds to get the Startup Chile as a program. You won't be able to get to acceleration program. You won't be able to open a bank account. You won't be able to do anything really. So yes, that's why you have to get the work visa. And also, we only, as the text said before, we only accept if you are foreign, we only accept natural persons, okay? You cannot apply as a company, foreign company, okay? So this will help you avoid issues as having delays in your visa, in your work visa, having delays receiving the funds, or getting here to Chile, having be delayed to get here and start in the program, and it will increase the probability of not being able to be the Startup Chile program in the future, okay? So please be very mindful of that, get that all scheduled, start looking into, and if you're having any questions, just leave them in the chat, or you can talk to hello@startupchile.org, and we can help you throughout that process in via email. So if you want to, thank you. And here's some reminders. As I said before, we are a public fund, so you have to read the terms and conditions, because once you get selected, you won't be able to say, no, nobody told me that. Nobody told me that I have to be here in Chile. Nobody told me that I have to get a work visa. All of that, it's in our terms and conditions. Then choose your team leader wisely, because you won't be able to change it. I know that some of you in this webinar might get selected to be part of the Startup Chile program. We hope so, that you get selected. But sometimes life happens and you won't be able to get here to Chile, okay? You won't be able to spend the whole year here in Chile. You have to be very mindful that the team leader that you are applying with is the one that has to stay here in Chile, and that's the third part. The project must be executed here in Chile. The 4, 6, and 12 months, you have to be here in Chile. You have to be the one that presents the expenses. You have to be the one that signs the contract with Corfo. You have to be the one that's actually kind of getting in contact here and networking here, be at the co-work and all of that. So be very, very mindful, please, because you won't be able to change it. Don't say that we didn't told you, because we did. Okay. So then only the team leader can execute the program, as I said before. This is regarding the spending, the being here, and all of that. The team leader must be 100% dedicated to the program and the startup. You can't be, for example, working at 40-hour shift in some company and then in your startup. No, that it's a no-do. And then you have to read the application form carefully, please. If you haven't started already in your application, just start now, because time passes quickly. Then you will be getting your application in the last 20 minutes, sending that, the page will crash. So don't do that. Just start reading the applications, watch these webinars, watch the past webinars, and watch the one that's coming next. But start in your application process, because if you get delayed on that, sometimes you won't be able to submit your application even.
Yeah, so thank you, Danny. Summarizing, it is really important for us to see your application and to read that you have the commitment to be here in the country, developing the business, running your project here. So think twice and select properly the team leader of the project. So now, and to finish this first part of the webinar, and afterwards we're going to have some Q&A session. We're going to mention some success stories of our alumni and our suppers. So the first one is a really great company. So its name is Bifidice. So she is Anastasia Gutkevich. She is from Russia. She got to Startup Chile around 2015 or 16 with this crazy idea to put some probiotics into ice creams to prevent some gut issues and gut illness, and to reduce the allergies and chronic diseases by 75%. That's the promise of Bifidase. And now she is commercializing this solution in the biggest retail supermarket here in the country. So she is an amazing entrepreneur, and we are really proud of her. Love for You also is a super company led by Comal Datlani. She is from Chile, and basically she promotes the use of cell phones in the good way, you know. So she uses the sensors and the assets that actually have to teach science in schools. So basically, she is trying to promote the learning process of children at different schools in the country and in the region. You know, teaching biology, chemistry, physics, using this device that probably most of us have in our pockets. What else? Notco. Notco is a food tech company that uses artificial intelligence. So the algorithm name is Giuseppe. So basically, they recreate flavors of animal protein into vegetable or plant-based ones. So they are a unicorn. We are really proud of this company. So Startup Chile supports this company in, I don't know, maybe 2016, 17. And it was an extremely important experience to raise capital in the future for Notco. Will the World, led by Alvaro Silverstein. Basically, he has a platform that supports agencies and companies that basically sell tours and traveling experiences around the world to include a person with disability in those experiences. So this is a really great company. So we can see here Alvaro in Machu Picchu enjoying and having a really good time with some guanacos, maybe those are. And no, not finally, the Delivering Co. Priyanka is from India. And basically, she has a food tech company, a biotech company here in this country. So she is trying to promote sustainability and healthy products that we consume. So they basically have some ice creams and other products plant-based like Notco. And finally, Good Meal. So this story is amazing for us because Good Meal started in the Build program. They went through Ignite, and then they finished the journey of Startup Chile in the growth program. And basically, they are now expanding the business and into Colombia. That is an incredible news for us. And they basically helps companies to avoid waste, basically. You know, so they sell these bags with some food, which is going to expire soon. So you are going to get an incredible good price to buy this bag in a corner shop, for example. So our application process will be opened until May the 9th. So please don't get the application form if you are interested to apply to a Startup Chile to the last minute. So basically, the majority of the companies that are selected into our programs take the proper time to fill the application form out. So please start now filling the application if you are interested. And the results are going to be published in July. And the next program of Startup Chile, the Generation 10 of our big programs, will be starting in September in a date to be confirmed. Danny, I don't know if you want to add some extra things. If not, we can go through the questions.
Yes, just go straight to the questions.
All right. Thank you both for that presentation. I hope you all know a little bit better what we do here at Startup Tea. So we have a few questions. Don't be shy, guys. Leave them right there because you have these two amazing people answering them. So it's a great opportunity. So let's start with the first one. Rob says, what kind of police certificate do you require for US citizens? Daniela?
Okay, so actually for the US citizens is kind of it depends on which state they are at, and how do you get that police certificate. But it's actually police record certificate apostle, okay, apostle police record certificate, which you have to get in the, depending on the state that you're at, you have to go through, for example, the consulate of Chile in there, or the embassy, and actually depends. For that, I will say that if you get selected, you have to, we will assign you an alumni which actually went through that, and they can help you. But it actually depends. You can search in our sites, in the MINREL site, which is Servicio de Migraciones, Service of Migration Service, in Chilean migration service, and you can look into the second category, which is the one that we get you here, the second category, and you can look into which police certificate you will be needing to complete that process if you want to get your work ahead, which is actually great, because the apostle record certificate record, it actually takes about a month or so. It's actually a really slow process, so if you can start before that, that will be great.
Perfect. Thank you, Dani. Seva, Federico says, what about if we're both female and male co-founders? So can you explain us a little bit more about maybe the female founder factor? How does it work with teams?
Yeah, so basically you can apply with both members of the team. So the important aspect is you need to decide which one will be the team leader, you know. So if, for example, the woman will be the team leader, the man can be part of the team as a team member, for example, or as a co-founder. So you can apply in the application form with both founders, but you have to select wisely. If, for example, if you're an abroad company, if both are we're going to be here in the country, or if you or your co-founder will have the space to spend the time here in Chile and run the program with us.
Awesome. So Mohammed just came across Startup Chile. Congrats. He says, hi, Daniela. Do you have any tips for a Pakistani founder? Are there any geographical limitations, or am I eligible to apply?
As Seva said before, we are agnostic to any kind of nationalities. So there's no limit, there's no issue from regarding any country that you're at. There's no worry about it, because we have some ways to get you here. For example, we know that an apostle is actually required for the police certificate, but some countries do not have that agreement. So if you are one of those countries, for example, any of you, that's not a limitation, because you actually have to go to the embassy there, the Chilean embassy, the nearest one to you, and you can get the police certificate kind of legally good to go and to get the visa. Okay, so there's no issue in that. Again, it doesn't matter from where you are, on where you're at in the moment. You can apply But sadly, I cannot give you any advice because that's not what we can do. But what I can recommend is for you to apply. That's what I can recommend.
Okay, he says, let's go. Thank you. Okay, so Seva, can you tell us a little bit more about the recommendation letter? So what do you recommend for the recommendation? Who might submit it? All that stuff.
Yeah. So the recommendation letter is not mandatory in the application form, but if you have to increase the application section of your team, for example, you can add a recommendation letter. So my recommendation is, so if you have a client, if you have some mentors, or if you have really good advisors that know the team, know the capabilities they have, or clients that have been working or using your solution, that's the best recommendation. So if you're going to write the recommendation yourself, and you will not just ask for a third part just for a signature, that is not relevant. So the important thing is to demonstrate that you have a partner or some sort of mentors, advisors, or clients that really trust in you and in your team.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Can you tell us a little bit more about the validation? So does it count if they have some surveys with potential clients? What do we mean by validation, especially at the build stage?
Yeah, in the build stage, validation is crucial to get a position into Startup Chile. And so we mean by validation a kind of exercise in which you get some relevant information directly from your clients or potential clients. So if you have interviewed, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 clients, that's enough for us. But the most important thing is to demonstrate what you have been learning from that process. So we can see the description of a problem in the sort of, so we're going to solve the climate change, and that's not enough. So you need to demonstrate that you have been learning in a specific industry, for example, from clients that have an important and frequent problem they want to solve now. So if you have been learning from them, if you have been running some online experiments, that's fair enough too. So if you have a landing page and the call to action of your landing page is book a demo, or I don't know, tell me when you're going to be live with this solution, and you have a pre-inscription or potential traction, that is evidence too.
Perfect. Thank you. Danny, this is for you. So Cindy says, my question is about, is a founder in a team of freelance collaborators enough? I do not have co-founders.
Well, actually, Seva can kind of go into this questions a little more deeply, but yes, you can apply yourself as a solo team leader. There's no issue in that. And actually, in the application form, it will ask you how many people are working for you, and if you're having any co-founders. So regarding how important is the co-founders in the application, I will leave Seva with that.
Yeah, so solo founders are fantastic, but if you have some relevant experience, for example, in the industry, or if you can run the business, if you know how to code as I don't know, your solution, or if you're a scientist, if you have the knowledge the know-how to run the business, sometimes you're going to need some co-founders, maybe not now, but in the future. So if you're a solo founder, it's fair enough, but you need to be aware that the important thing is why you are alone now. If you have the capabilities, that's good, but if not, maybe you need to find some people to be with running the business.
Cool. Danny, someone says well, they are in this webinar, but what about the English? So what about the English part? Because that's something that people always ask. Um, Tell us a little bit, why do we speak English in Chile?
Okay, so yeah, we actually speak in Chile, we speak Spanish, but here in Startup Chile, we are doing this webinar. And for example, when you get here, get selected and all of that, we do all of the kind of batch instances in English, because as we said, we are agnostic to nationalities. So some of the entrepreneurs that actually apply to Startup Chile apply in English, as they don't know how to speak Spanish, but we do know how to speak English and Spanish. And the program, throughout the whole program, for example, pitch day and all of the important instances in the program are in English, because that's kind of the language that we all use and to get to know each other, to know your peers from all over the world. Okay, so if we talk only in Spanish, we will be here only talking to ourselves through the Chilean entrepreneurs, for example, and we won't be able to know the ones that come from the United States, for example, some that comes from Italy, some come from France, and all of that. So English is kind of our common language, and that way we can know each other. For example, we have mentors, we have academies that are only in English, because we have some other parts of the Startup Chile program and offer that are in English.
Yeah, and for me,
Awesome.
Ampi, the important thing is, so if you can understand English and moreover, you can hold a conversation with a peer, that's enough. So in my case, I'm not native speaker of English. Obviously, I make a lot of mistakes, but I can hold a conversation with a foreign entrepreneur. So that is what are we looking for. So we are not looking for advanced speakers of English, but if you have a level in which you can hold a conversation and to be involved in the community and not to be out of it, that's good for us.
Awesome. Danny, how long do founders have to stay in Chile for the program?
Okay, so in the timeline that we saw, the program starts in September, okay? The program, we have kind of two concepts of program, which is the execution of the program and then the acceleration program. The acceleration program is 4 months for Build and Ignite and 8 months for the growth program. And the execution of the project actually is for 6 and 12 months, okay? Through our terms and conditions, it states that in the execution of the program is the one that the entrepreneur has to be here in Chile. So you will get to sign a contract with CoFounders, and from that point on, you start the 4, 6, and 12 months. So it depends actually from which program you are applying, but it kind of consists on 4, 6, or 12 months from the start of the execution of the program, which is actually the signing of the contract. But yeah, it's 4, 6, or 12 months.
Cool. Seva, can you tell us a little bit more about the application process itself? So they fill out this form, then what comes next?
So the selection process has 2 stages. So the first one is the application form. After that, we're going to select a bunch of startups that we're going to be through the interview stage, which is the second stage of the process. And the interview is really important for us because we're going to check the technology you have, and we want to see the team leader. We want to talk with you. We need to understand what do you want to do here in the country? What are your expectations, and so on. And if you are a local entrepreneur, we're going to do basically the same. So we want you to test the level of English you have, and so forth. And then we are going to take the final decision with the team of Startup Chile, and obviously along with our committee that takes the final decision, basically.
Cool, cool. Cindy says, I would like to know what you could recommend to differentiate myself from other startups that are in the same line as mine, so that they do the same thing. How do they differentiate?
Yeah, maybe the first one is you, Cindy, maybe. The founder or the leaders of the company. So think about the background you have, the previous experience you have, if you have been working in some startups, or if you have a past experience as a founder of a company. Moreover, if you want to be different, maybe you can solve a problem which is specific in the industry and nobody else is solving the same problem or the same element of the problem. So I have seen some startups that explore the actual solutions that are in the market, and basically they find an aspect that nobody is taking into consideration, and that could be a good differentiation. Danny, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great explanation. I think that it's important, as we said, the team is highly, highly important, and search right for the gap in there, the mistake that someone is having, the problems that people are having, and try to differentiate in the rate of innovation, for example, in the prices, for example, all of that. It's something to differentiate.
Yeah, maybe the most important thing here is we are not going to not consider your application if we know that are, I don't know, 10 solutions regarding the same problem. We're going to check the solution because we can find something super interesting in that project.
Yeah, it's interesting to say that we've had some competitors in the same batches sometimes. And that's, I don't know, there's something special about each of them. So yeah, Seva, I know that you cannot answer this right as they are asking, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how many startups are selected for Build Ignite stage in total.
Okay, it depends on the budget we will have, but I could say it will be around 70 companies, 70 projects, or between 65 to 70 projects in the next generation. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're getting to the last question. So again, if you want to ask, this is the moment. So the last question is, tell us a little bit more about applying to Build and Ignite at the same time.
Okay. Sometimes could be a good idea to apply to both programs because you can have, some elements of a build project and at the same time some elements of a Ignite one, So if you are doubting about which one is better for me, maybe you can apply to both programs, but only you will receive the invitation to one of both programs. So I will avoid doing that if my startup is getting actual traction, So if you are getting actual traction, so if you are in that momentum, maybe the Ignite program is better for you. So if you are exploring the market and you have some interesting conversations or just first sales, maybe could apply to both programs.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's finish this up with some advice for the entrepreneurs. This is the last thing that we do in these webinars. So Danny, tell us a little bit about advice to them.
Okay, so my advice is to read. First of all, read everything. Read our terms and conditions, see if it's good for you, if it's applied for your company, if you're comfortable to get in and to know all of the steps that are needed to be here, and read the application form, because sometimes it says really textual how to apply, and you kind of sometimes you do not read that. So read carefully, read slowly, kind of process it, and then complete what you want to complete. But then don't leave it for the last time, for the last second. Okay, just go day by day, kind of getting your application done, kind of searching for all of the information that is needed, because actually it can look a little bit easy to complete, but it's not. It actually takes a lot of time. So be very mindful of that. Take that time and just make your application and your application form like really, really kind of with what we ask for. Yeah, just give it time and be patient. Also, I will I will just ask you to be patient, because it for us to it too takes time to review all of you. So yeah, be patient and be very, very mindful of what is asked for. And good luck.
Thank you so much. Seba?
So first of all, be concise with the application form. So we don't want to read a long story. So we want to understand the main aspects of your business. So taking consideration that. So for us is super important to be on the point. And what else? So I encourage you to come to this country, to this amazing country. So watch some videos of Chile, some videos of our demo days and the activities we run here in our co-work. You can see some interviews of former entrepreneurs from Startup Chile in our YouTube channel, or even though maybe you can't find some information of Startup Chile on YouTube, go to the internet. So there are a lot of information about the Startup Chile experience here in the internet. So we have a track record of 15 years doing and running this program. So we have a lot of experience doing this. And if you want to run your business in Latin America, obviously Chile is going to be the first step you have to do, or you have to take. So good luck in your application.
Okay, thank you guys so much. We wish you luck on this process. And yeah, we will be here in 2 more weeks with another webinar. So check them out if you haven't submitted your application yet. So thank you, Danny. Thank you, Seba.